to the Red Ride podcast. My name is Peter.
My name is Dan.
Today, we are going to be talking about Obadiah.
And it will be the first podcast of 2026.
Ooh, can you believe it, Dan?
It's crazy.
I can't believe that we're finally getting to do this again.
I know we took a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back in the swing of things now. The dynamics change, so I am a lot more free to do this, and my schedule allows it a bit more, which means you'll be hearing our voices a little more frequently. So hopefully you're not irritated by the sound of that, and we'd love to just share some of the findings that we found as we've gone through Scripture and just really explore Scripture. We're not trying to give you a definitive, this is it, you got to believe that. We just want to go through what we're enjoying, what God has revealed to us, and hopefully will reveal to you.
Absolutely, and we're really excited. A lot of reading has gone into this, and we are trusting that as you take this journey with us, we don't know how long we will be spending in Obadiah, even though it is just one chapter.
21 verses.
And can you believe it, eh?
Maybe it's one verse a podcast, so it will be 21 chapters. That's maybe a little too much. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe the Spirit's doing something, and
if we spend a whole year on it, that would be crazy.
Imagine.
But I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we've looked at it, and we're still journeying through it. But we invite you, if you've got questions, please ask the questions, because it helps us in our thinking process. Sometimes there are things that we have not seen, and Scripture is like this. We read Scripture in community, which is important. So let's dive into Obadiah. Dan, you ready?
I'm very ready. Are you ready?
I am ready and pumped. So I want to start here, and that's with something that makes Obadiah interesting, and it is that, surprise, surprise, if you don't know, it is the shortest book in the Old Testament. And as Daniel said earlier on, there's only 21 verses. And it's one of those books that if you are turning your pages in the Bible, it's easy to miss. And it's because it's one chapter, it's probably you probably might overlook it, because you're like, it's a prophetic book, 21 verses. But dynamite comes in small packages, right?
That's true.
And it's not anything. It is anything but small, though it's small in size.
Yeah. I think for me, I was telling Peter early on this week that when you think of small books, I often think of more New Testament books, because they're letters, they are encouragements, to other churches or people, and you think, this doesn't necessarily fit the Old Testament idea of what a book is, but I love that it is different, because I think it really makes you take a look at it. And it's maybe not quick to take a look at it, but it is impactful, and it is, if you're being intentional about it, it can really change your perspective and help you on your walk with God and what He's called us to, and all of that. So as we dig into it, we just encourage you, have a read over it. Again, it's only 21 verses. It's not going to take you a whole day to read the book.
Yeah.
It could take you 10 minutes, and it could honestly take you 10 hours if you dig that deep into it. And hopefully we're going to be doing a little bit of that digging, and God will reveal things to us that we've never seen before. So
absolutely. So Dan, Obadiah is a mixture of prose and poetry. That's how it's been written. That matters more than we might think, because prose is direct to the point. You were mentioning to me something just now about prose and poetry. But when you read a prose, it's like someone writing you a letter. You read it, you understand what is being said. Poetry works differently. Poetry slows you down. It uses images, emotion, and intensity to help you feel the message, not just understand it. think of it like prose is the fastest route to the destination. Poetry is the scenic route. It takes longer, but it stays with you. So I think of going to Cape Town from Durban in South Africa, down here where we are. If you leave Durban, you go to Cape Town, it's probably quicker to go via the Bloemfontein route.
Correct, yeah.
But if you wanted to take the scenic route, the garden route,
That's beautiful.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
You'll still get to Cape Town, but it might take you a bit longer.
Yeah. Well, even then, going through the Karoo is also beautiful. So the
Yes.
prose route, I suppose, in this analogy, is just flying.
Yeah.
And you're like there in 2 hours. And, you know, you get to enjoy Cape Town, Table Mountain,
Yeah.
Rondebosch, whatever, I don't know, whatever you're going for. But then the garden route, and you have to make a 2-day trip out of it.
Yes, that's true.
Right? It really is scenic.
Yeah.
You get to go through the coast or down the coast from Durban.
Yeah.
Eventually you get to Eastern Cape. Eventually you go through Knysna and all of these wilderness and George and all of that and garden route. And you experience these beautiful moments of creation or you just fly there.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose it depends what the driver has time for, or if they need to get there in a rush. But we are going to be taking a bit of that scenic route with Obadiah that you are mentioning, because as you said, it's filled with a lot of poetry.
Absolutely. And as I've mentioned before, 21 verses. Out of the 21 verses, only 3 are prose.
Wow.
So prose. Which tells us something important. It tells us that God chose to communicate this message mostly through vivid, emotional language. Right? This is not just an announcement. It is a message that is meant to land deeply. So this book can be divided into 3 movements. The announcement, the message of judgment against Edom. That's the announcement. And then there's the indictment, number 2, which is the reasons Edom is being judged. And then there's number 3, God's promise of justice and restoration, not just for Israel, but for the world. So, at the heart of Obadiah are 2 major themes, which are pride and betrayal. But there's something else woven through the whole book as well, which is God's response to indifference. So, Judah, the people of God, were going through a season of discipline. They had turned away from God, and as a result, Babylon invaded Jerusalem. And then in a real sense, this discipline was deserved. That's that's when the book of Obadiah was written, when Judah, the people of God, were experiencing God's discipline. But here is where the tension comes in. Even when people are facing consequences of their own actions, God still cares deeply about how others treat them in that moment. The scary part is that Edom was not just any nation. They were family and brothers of the people of Judah, who are the people of Israel.
I think we're going to get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think you're saying there. I think for me, you speaking about this indifference, it's interesting because I think sometimes we as a people can be indifferent to the situations around us.
Yeah.
But God has not called us to be a people of indifference.
Yeah.
So being indifferent or caring about the situation of others, and we don't always have the full power to, as an individual, to change a person's life or an organization or a group of people's life.
Yeah.
But I think God asks us, what is the small thing that we can do that would bring about the dignity of that person, or the restoration or the healing or the advancement of the gospel into those situations? Mm-hmm. Now, this is an Old Testament book. And so the story of Edom and their indifference, I guess, we're going to learn about, slightly different to how it applies or how we can apply it in today's world. But I think the principles remain the same.
Absolutely.
I was reading, we've gone through this Crossroads material, and I just want to give a shout out to Crossroads and to SATS as they've provided this information. But in there, I was reading about just some things or ideas as you read the Ten Commandments and the moral and legal code that God provides to the Israelites and even to us nowadays, how we do that, and Jesus' continuation of that. Edom here was indifferent, but God requires that to this law that he's given, like you shall not murder, you shall not bear false witness, things like that, there's both a negative and a positive side to that. The negative being like you won't do this thing, murder. The positive side is you will protect the lives of others. So doing both is seeing the fullness of that law. So if the only thing I do is not murder, I'm doing nothing, correct? But there's an active application to the you shall not murder. It's you shall protect the lives of others. So if I'm in the situation where I see the life of someone being threatened and I have the opportunity to be indifferent, I'm not involved in the murdering of that person, or to stand up. God requires the standing up for what's right. Otherwise, and they even say it, and I'm quoting them, doing nothing would be righteous. And that's just not the case. If I just sat on my bed or in my lounge the whole day, does that make me a righteous man? Not so. God requires us, wants us, encourages us to partner with him to bring about his gospel. And part of that standing up or the bearing true witness instead of false witness is doing the thing, is not being indifferent, is caring about our neighbor. So I thought that was interesting, is that their indifference actually caused their own downfall. We will see as we go through this book.
I love that thought, Dan. It's actually amazing. If you think about it, doing nothing is not righteous. Think of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden.
Ooh.
Adam stands by and watches Eve.
That's a great example, Pete. I actually only thought about that now. That's crazy.
But Dan, it's
yeah.
You just see. This is why it's biblical. Speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. Well, biblical meditation. It's great to do it together.
Yeah,
you learn so much. But you think of Adam and Eve. They're like, Adam is just watching Eve make a bad choice, and he's just not doing anything.
Yeah.
And
his actions weren't righteous.
Yeah.
Right? He was called to love, protect his wife, Eve, and he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Eve makes the decision, sure, but Adam's no decision is a decision to not act or to not step in or speak up.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what begins a ripple effect of sin into the world. And that's what God holds Edom accountable for. They're not accountable for not causing Judas suffering, the people of God, but they are held accountable for how they respond to it. This book teaches us that standing by and feeling satisfied while someone else is falling apart is not neutral. Indifference matters to God. Another key theme in Obadiah is the day of the Lord.
Dun, dun, dun.
In scripture, this refers to a time when God steps in to set things right, when justice is fully done and what is broken is healed.
I think of that. Our indifference leads to God's stepping in eventually, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We see the world, the evil, the chaos, the corrupt, and it's just because it's men and women who aren't stepping in or stepping up for what God cares about.
Yeah.
And eventually, because of that, he's the one to step in. He gives us the opportunity to step in, and because we don't, and I'm not saying there are men and women who are leading great causes, gospel initiatives, sure. But generally speaking, a lot of the world just allows evil to continue. And because of that, God's, okay, I'm going to step in because you won't.
Yes.
And I think that's something, maybe a little bit of the day of the Lord is he will come to finally judge and set things right, as you say.
Yes. I was actually thinking about when you're speaking now, which is actually quite amazing, because how many times do we give up and throw in the towel and say, fine, I'm just going to leave this?
Yeah. That is human nature, is it not?
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't do it anymore. I've prayed, I've fought this battle. I just don't care enough. And I wonder if that grieves the heart of God. And he's like, but I just want you to keep persisting in this matter. You can't see the fruit yet, but it is there. It's like, that's so true. It's like, this is too difficult. I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just too much to take that extra step to care about that person. So I can't.
Sure.
You know, and I'm not saying we have the capacity of God to do that for everyone, but I believe he's given something of that to us, to care, to love, to preach, and through our lives share the gospel. So
basically, we are not God, but if it is in our ability to do something and we don't do it, we will be held accountable like Edom was.
You know, flashback of all the things that, like, I could have done something, but I didn't. I just remained silent.
Yeah.
And we've all had that feeling, right?
Because we worried about what people would think.
Exactly.
Or how
We're
people
scared
respond.
about man and what they think about us.
Yeah.
But Mikey was saying something, and you were saying, like, we as a people need to stop caring. I'm paraphrasing it a bit, but stop caring about what others think and just be foolish. Look foolish for God, because in that, life comes to other people.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know, in a way, I want to be foolish.
Yeah.
So.
And when we mean foolish, we're not saying foolish in the sense of being dumb. We're
Yeah, like, or making bad decisions.
Basically, the idea is that sometimes God's wisdom looks like foolishness to others.
Yeah. What looks good to man might not look good to God.
Yes.
So what looks good to God might look foolish to man.
It's basically doing what's right. Do you want to do what's right in God's eyes?
Yeah,
or what is right in your own eyes?
Yeah, good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Obadiah so far.
This is meant to be a lot quicker, but as we're just speaking about it, it's
just coming alive, you know. 21 verses is more relevant than what we think, and we haven't even gotten to the verses yet.